All right, black and white sports reporters. Well, the Fever got themselves a victory at home tonight against the Seattle Storm. Now, earlier today, I warned you guys. I was like, look, they're going to win this game. They're going to win this game by blowout. Why is that? Well, simply put, Seattle Storm, arguably, maybe the worst roster in the league. So even in spite of the coach, and I'm going to tell you, one thing was evident tonight. Caitlin Clark has decided she's installing her own offensive system for the Indiana Fever. And it is watch me play make. Watch me roll. I'm going to take this rock and I'm going to show you what I can do with it. And she's not hesitating, and she's firing. She's firing. She got herself a double-double tonight. We were on triple-double watch until, of course, the one person that was able to play defense on her, Stephanie White, took her out of the game, and the triple-double dream was set aflame.
There is a very strange feeling lingering in Indianapolis right now. And if you are paying close attention, you might completely miss the disaster that is unfolding behind the scenes. The Indiana Fever just secured a seemingly comfortable home victory against the Seattle Storm, putting up 89 points and coasting to the finish line. On paper, it looks like a clean, successful night for a franchise that desperately needed to find some positive momentum. But for anyone actually watching the product on the floor, the truth is glaringly obvious. This wasn't a masterclass in team execution or a brilliant display of coaching adjustments. This was a game against arguably the worst roster in the entire WNBA, a team completely devoid of superstars. What actually happened on that court was much deeper and far more rebellious. We are witnessing the very public hijacking of an offense, a silent protest against a broken coaching system, and a terrifying financial warning sign that the front office is desperately trying to hide. If you think this win fixed the problems in Indiana, you are dead wrong.
Let's go over here, 89-78. Caitlin Clark, 5 of 10 from the field, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 21 points. A really nice, efficient game in 24 minutes. Sophie Cunningham, she also had a nice game. 25 minutes, 17 points, 5 of 9 from the field. 3 rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell, she added 17 points. She was 8 of 18. Hell froze over tonight because she got 2 assists. Wow. And Lexi threw in 9 points. Mahisha Hines-Allen, 8 points. But this was the Caitlin Clark show. It was the Caitlin Clark show. She would have had more assists if people like Dantas could actually catch the ball and then put it in the basket. So,
to fully understand what went down tonight, you have to look at the exact moment Caitlin Clark decided she was completely done playing within Stephanie White's rigid, suffocating offensive system. Clark walked onto the hardwood and essentially staged a silent coup. She took the basketball, looked at the stagnant playbook, and essentially said, "Watch me playmake, watch me roll, and watch me cook." It was a complete rejection of the isolation-heavy nonsense we have been forced to endure all season. Clark was not hesitating. She was firing from deep, threading impossible needles, and pushing the pace entirely on her own terms. She finished the night with an incredibly efficient 21 points, 10 assists, and 7 rebounds in just 24 minutes of action. The three-point shot is officially back, the confidence is radiating off her, and she proved yet again that when she is allowed to operate in a system that maximizes her specific talents, the rest of the league absolutely cannot hold her. She is the engine, the transmission, and the steering wheel of this entire franchise.
Couple of things, or one thing I want to show you right off the bat. Oh, wow. They did update the attendance. Wow. Guys, This happened in real time when the game ended because it was not up. I just checked it 5 minutes ago. 14,505 attended the game. I believe in the regular season, that is officially the least attended game in which Caitlin Clark has played. The capacity of that arena, I believe, is 17,274. Wow. They were almost 3,000 people light. There were $8 tickets for this game. Wow. Okay.
But what happened next would shock everyone, because the only person in the entire building capable of slowing down Caitlin Clark was standing on her own sideline. As the game rolled into the fourth quarter, the entire arena was on triple-double watch. The energy was palpable, the crowd was buzzing, and a historic statistical milestone was sitting right there for the taking. So what does head coach Stephanie White do? She yanks her franchise savior out of the game. She benches the hottest player on the floor, effectively setting the triple-double dream completely aflame. The immediate excuse from the coaching apologists is always the same. They are taking injury precautions in a blowout. But let's call a spade a spade. If a player is fully healthy, in a massive rhythm, and on the verge of a historic milestone that the paying fans are desperate to see, you leave her on the damn floor. Pulling her out wasn't about rest, it was an ego trip. It was a coach desperate to reassert control over a game that her point guard had completely taken over. It is coaching malpractice dressed up as player management. While Clark was busy trying to run a functional offense, we have to talk about the supporting cast, because there were some absolute anomalies out there tonight. Sophie Cunningham stepped up in a major way, logging 25 minutes, dropping 17 points, and making some massive defensive plays that actually brought some much-needed fire to the second unit. And then there's Kelsey Mitchell. Hell must have officially frozen over in Indianapolis tonight, because Mitchell managed to record exactly 2 assists. Yes, you heard that right. After weeks of absolute tunnel vision and isolation ball hogging, she finally passed the basketball. But let's not get carried away celebrating the bare minimum. The reality is that Caitlin Clark's assist numbers would be hovering around 15 or 16 a night if the front court players, specifically Damiris Dantas, could actually catch a perfect pass and convert a simple layup. Clark is out there serving up absolute dimes, and the front office has surrounded her with players who look genuinely surprised when the ball hits them in the hands. And that exact roster dysfunction leads us to the most terrifying reality check of the entire evening. As the game concluded, the official attendance numbers finally updated, and the figures are an absolute nightmare for the Indiana Fever front office. The final count was 14,505 fans in attendance. To put that into perspective, Gainbridge Fieldhouse holds over 17,200 people. That means they were nearly 3,000 people light in a building that was selling out every single night last year. There were literally tickets available for this game on the secondary market for $8. Let that sink in. The greatest financial draw in the history of women's sports is on the roster, and the team is pulling in the lowest attendance numbers of the Caitlin Clark era. Why is this happening? It is not because the fans are tired of Caitlin. It is because the fans are sick and tired of watching Stephanie White mismanage her. The consumers are voting with their wallets. They refuse to pay premium prices to watch a coach actively diminish her best player, run bizarre rotations, and play a brand of basketball that belongs in the 1990s. The structural weakness of this team was brutally exposed the second Clark hit the bench. During the second and fourth quarters, when the primary playmaker was resting, the Fever were actively outscored by a Seattle Storm team that consists entirely of character actors and role players. There is no superstar on that Seattle roster, yet they managed to absolutely carve up the Indiana second unit. The bench is paper thin, the defensive intensity completely evaporates without the starters, and the lack of a true backup point guard leaves the offense looking like a chaotic rec league pickup game. With Aaliyah Boston sitting out due to injury, the front court was completely exposed yet again. This roster is constructed like a house of cards, and the only thing preventing a total collapse is the fact that number 22 is capable of dropping a near triple-double whenever she feels like it. The tension inside that building is reaching a boiling point, and the cracks are starting to show on the sideline. Rumors are already circulating about a verbal altercation caught on camera between Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White during the game. Whether it was a minor disagreement over a play call or a massive blow-up regarding the offensive system, you have a generational talent who knows exactly what it takes to win, being held back by a coach who seems determined to force a square peg into a round hole. If this friction continues to escalate, the front office is going to have to make a very expensive, highly uncomfortable decision before the season completely unravels. The Indiana Fever got their win, but they haven't solved a single underlying problem. Caitlin Clark is the system, and the league cannot stop her when she is allowed to operate. But the organization she plays for seems perfectly content to cool down their biggest asset just to protect their own egos.